Welcome to Restaurant Executive Mastery, the podcast where you get to hear how top restaurant executives bring transformational changes to their business. He is John Shaw, speaker, executive, and life coach, entrepreneur, interfaith minister, and former restaurant leader for over 25 years. John's also a chocolate cake lover. I am Rev Ciencio, hospitality marketing consultant, influencer, former bar owner, and spicy lamb meatball fanatic.
This show was created to help restaurant executives master their mindset and find inspirational ways to change their business from the top to the bottom. We're showcasing top thinkers in our business and give tactical solutions and examples that can help you move your needle.
With that, please welcome to the Restaurant Executive Mastery Podcast, Nico Nieto, Vice President, Head of Marketing and Brand at Rōti Modern Mediterranean. Wow, I just botched that one today. We're going to do that over anyway. Please welcome to the Restaurant Executive Mastery Podcast, Nico Nieto, Vice President, Head of Marketing and Brand at Rōti Modern Mediterranean. They're a fast casual concept based in Chicago with 42 locations in several states. Nico's been doing digital marketing for brands for more than 12 years, which in digital terms is basically a lifetime. And for you techies, that outdates 3G on iPhones, the USB 3.0, the Android phone, and Apple's App Store. I mean, we practically lived in caves when Nico started on his digital journey. Am I right, John? He worked for a number of agencies supporting brands like Coca-Cola, Nissan, Dunkin', Mattel, and Skittles. He ran his own agency and also led the digital activation for McDonald's main global marketing programs, including the World Cup, the Olympics, and Happy Meals. A lot of the last one in my house. Nico's a father to three, a hummus brand ambassador, a Chicago Cubs fanatic, and one of his dream jobs is to oversee social media for the entire Star Wars brand.
Nico, welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for calling me old Rev. Been doing this for a little while, but happy to be here and happy to be talking to you guys.
Listen, I like to talk about Atari 2600 once in a while, and I'm guessing that I don't even know if the two of you know what that is, but that dates me. So,
no, first console, and believe it or not, Facebook targeting capabilities in marketplace have to be targeting all people like me, because a couple of 2600 came up on the Facebook marketplace on my neighborhood. So I might actually pull the trigger on one of those and then play some old school games, if I ever had the time to do that.
Oh man. Well, we could just have a podcast about all of our favorite Atari 2600 games, but we'll save that for later.
No kidding.
All right, Nico, listen, you get hired for this role, right? The vice president, head of marketing for a super exciting, fast growing Mediterranean chain. You're just getting into your groove. You put your time into learning the brand, the team, the goals, your initiatives are just coming into fruition, and boom, global pandemic. Right? You shut down your stores. You have to reassess the brand. You reopen some stores with a chef-driven, better-for-you menu that includes certified organic, non-GMO juices, and all other kinds of crazy stuff. What happened during that time, and what led you to the changes that this brand has made?
I think it's a great question. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't have any experience running a brand or running any marketing strategies or marketing campaigns in the middle of a global pandemic crisis. So, there was, I think, for everybody out there, I'll be really transparent to say there was a mix between, freaking out, a little bit of trusting your gut and that your experience was going to pull through, and then try to make decisions that were very driven on data and on the actuals of the behaviors of consumers and the business. So, the basic thing or the most important thing that COVID did for us, besides being a tragic event for humanity, both on people who have lost loved ones, people affected with the disease. You guys don't know this, but I contracted the virus a few weeks ago, and thank God there was no symptoms, but even just the social distancing and the quarantine and the disruption in kind of daily activities is a lot to process. So there is no secrets on the multiple impacts on this on a personal level, and then at a financial level in a business in the hospitality industry. But with that said, we like to talk about what positives did COVID brought to our business and to organization. And the first and most important one, I think, it brought speed. we realized that things were changing so rapidly and the conditions were so volatile that projects that maybe used to take 3, 6, 8 months of planning and testing, we had to move quicker than that. So during the last 6 to 8 months, we've been busier than ever before, even though our business has dramatically slowed down in many of our locations and we have many locations closed. We decided to double down in things like innovation, tech, marketing, messaging, brand repositioning, food development. Because one thing that we as a leadership team decided is that the biggest failure of COVID was for a brand, or for us as individuals to come on the other side of this, being the same brand, the same company, the same people that we were prior to this. So, with that in mind, we decided not to shy, not to get scared, and then just to start working harder than ever to try to move a bunch of projects that in my personal case, I knew that I had to do, but I was probably going to have a longer lead time to get those across the finish line. I just decided to figure out what was the right way to move very quickly to get stuff done. And just recently, we reopened store number 13 in the north side of Chicago in Northbrook. And as you mentioned, Rev, there is a lot of innovation pieces in that store that are the cumulative effort of many, many people inside Rōti, and that are the show, or like the evidence to show the work that we have been doing for the last few weeks.
So that was an amazing answer. Thank you. First of all, thank you for your candor and your honesty and your vulnerability. I think if we're all honest, excuse my language, we've all had moments of being scared shitless, right? For our businesses, for our families. So thank you for that. Your visibility and transparency are powerful. And I also just want to really underscore for our listeners this principle that you talked about, that there's been an acceleration, and that, Napoleon Hill had a great quote that I think about a lot, which is that every adversity has within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit if you can find it, plant it, nurture it, and harvest it. And related to that, Ilya Prigogine was a Nobel Prize winning physicist on chaos theory and the second law of thermodynamics. And in very simple terms, he said that the universe and all of its systems evolved through chaos. And with the introduction of tremendous chaotic adversity, yes, there can be disruption, destruction, but if that system can integrate, right, and adapt, there can be a massive acceleration because of the dynamic quality of the energy of that adversity, of that transformational energy and change. So the fact that you're aware of that, the fact that you're harnessing that and accelerating is just very powerful. So I just wanted to underscore that.
Yeah, thank you, John. And I wasn't aware of all of these, quantum physics and thermodynamic theories when we made any of these decisions. However, I think what we were aware of it was my job as a marketer is to listen and to have the pulse on what the consumer wants and what the consumer is going, and then try to provide solutions that match that consumer mindset. So we knew that we had already a reputation as a brand that is that allows consumers that love good food and that loves great tasting food to be able to eat their favorites without feeling guilty or feeling sick or feeling gross after eating the food. So we're a great non-compromise option for people who want to eat food that is good for them. People who crave better, like that tension is actually just part of our brand book, if you will. Crave better, like the craving side of it is I want delicious, I want flavor, I want spices, I want something that creates different reactions in my mind and in my tongue and in my stomach. At the same time, I want better. So I want sustainable ingredients. I want a company that cares about the environment. I want a company that is trying to source the best food, not only to unleash the best flavors, but food that actually is good for my body. So we knew that we were, as people are getting sick and as people are looking at what's next, we knew that maybe we were in a unique position to try to offer a message and a menu that was going to connect with people's mindset of trying to take care a little bit of themselves. Again, roti food is not the solution for the coronavirus, but as people are more aware, as I am aware, of certain markers that make it easy for people to contract the virus, whether it's being overweight, whether it's being, diabetic or pre-diabetic, or having, any heart disease or any high blood pressure or whatever. I think people are going to look over to see, hey, is there any way that I can kind of modify my diet or modify my behaviors? And today in society, what that means traditionally is like, oh, I need to eat some steamed broccoli and some steamed cauliflower. And I don't know about you guys, but like, boo to that. There is nothing more boring and challenging to do that. But then there is a brand like Rōti that happens to have incredibly delicious food for people that love to eat well, that love to have a premium eating experience in a way that is very accessible, in a way that is very economic, and that I can eat, feel good about what I'm eating, what the decisions that I'm making, without putting in risk my health or making the situation worse. And I think or awareness of that, or awareness of how important food is for communities in many different layers, or brand purpose is to serve food that matters. And we can unpack that in many dimensions, but our awareness of that gave us no other option. They're like, what can we do during the crisis? And that acceleration that we were talking about, John, is all about that. How do we understand the role that Rōti has as a brand that is very intrinsic and is just part of how, why we exist in the world? And how do we try to take advantage of that to create the biggest benefit for consumers? And that's kind of like what we've been doing for the last few months.
Nico, how much of that was implanted in the brand before the pandemic?
Well, it's funny because it's really interesting that you asked that question, because the pandemic almost hit when I was presenting kind of my 90-day plan, right? We knew we were going to, or I knew I was going to take the brand into a brand repositioning work, where anything from our purpose or taglines or story was going to be articulated slightly different in a way that will connect better and in a more relevant way with customers. So we had just refinished kind of like the brief that we were going to work on for the brand positioning work, and then this hit. So the reality is, as a brand truth of our positioning in terms of being the no compromise option, Crave Better, or old tagline used to be food that loves you back. Those things were always traditionally part of the brand, but they were not architected in a way that allow us to go from the beginning to the end of the experience, hitting those specific reasons to believe. And it was not architected in a way that it was easier for us as a brand, for our employees, for our restaurants to communicate that to the customers. So even though those things were always, part of our brand truth, during the crisis, what we did was organize them and putting them in buckets and attributes and language that it was just easy for us to activate.
So it was more really just the same principles, but a refresh.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a brand, we've always been passionate about what we believe are the things that any food brand should be passionate about. Serving great food that is really tasty, serving food that is good for people, because there is a lot of responsibility in you creating something that people are putting inside their bodies. Being able to connect with the communities where we operate. We don't only feed people, but we employ people, and we partner with organizations in the communities. So becoming part of the community is really important for us. And then serve people food on their terms. And I think that is more important now than ever for whether you're on retail and hospitality in the current times. You got to move fast to try to keep up with how consumers want to buy from you. So and the situation has changed dramatically. So, prior to COVID, in many of our locations, we were 90, 80, let's say 80% dining customers, especially in our central business district locations. We were the spot where you will get out of your office, walk across the street, grab a salad, grab a rice plate, grab a bowl, and then go back to work. Well, suddenly there is no people working in downtown Chicago, or there is people not working in downtown DC, but there is a lot of people that live in the suburbs that are not commuting, but they want to kind of recreate a sense of normalcy by eating their favorite that they used to eat when they were in their office. So, we were fortunate enough that even prior to COVID, we already had great relationships with the third parties, like, DoorDashes and the Uber Eats and the Postmates and Grubhubs of the world. We already had delivery mechanisms through our app and through our website, but we kind of doubled down on those, knowing that more people were going to be looking at contactless, touchless, virtual ways of engaging with the brand. And, and a great example of that and moving fast was, we knew that curbside, the data showed that curbside across all different industries, is becoming the norm, is becoming kind of unexpected offering. So we decided to benchmark our curbside on the people doing it the best out there, even outside of our industry. So the best curbside experience, I don't know if you guys have experienced this where you are, but like Target has a fantastic curbside experience. You place your order through their website of their app, you pull up into their parking spot, you identify, hey, you let them know, hey, I'm here and I'm driving a blue SUV. And 2 seconds after, you see the Target guy coming out with with your card, asking you to open your trunk and then putting the stuff organized in your trunk. It's safe, it's frictionless, it's easy to understand. So we went ahead and then, we a few weeks ago, we decided that we're going to implement curbside. We already have certain dedicated spots for pickup in many of our locations. So, the marketing team partnered with the operations team and the technology team. And then we rolled it out last week in one location in Northbrook. And then we saw immediate success on curbside, becoming 1/4 of our total digital revenue. So
wow.
Today, a week after, we're rolling it in another 3 stores. Next week, we're rolling another 3 stores. So our idea will be that by the end of the year, in every store where we have enough space, parking available, we're going to have curbside. This is unthinkable prior to COVID, when it would have probably taken us 6 months to a year to plan the whole thing and then figure it out exactly.
Talk about it a lot before you did it. Right?
Yeah, we still talking about it. We start doing it and then iterated on it. And our technology team did a fantastic work. Our requirement was really basic. Hey, even if it needs to be duct tape and crayons, as long as it does the work, let's try it out. They actually did it perfectly. So we're very happy about that. And I think, yes, the core of who we are as a brand are still the same, but the ways we're trying to do things to connect with customers are all new. Because I think our customers have different expectations today. And I think we've all put through this pandemic crisis in situations where we cannot operate the same way we were operating before. So I think for any brand out there trying to connect with customers, trying to do the same thing that you've always done is not going to work, because the world in which you're operating in is not the same world that it used to be.
Nico, there's so much in what you just said. I just want to underscore a few points, and then I want to talk about how you're accessing this information through your deep listening mode, and we'll talk about that. But I just want to underscore, I love, as a 25-year restaurateur and also branding and marketing person, I love food that loves you back. I really appreciate what that means. And tell us about Crave. You spoke to it, around it, but the Crave Better concept. And love food, because the holy grail in the food business, right, is craveability, right? And so to combine the holy grail of craveability with the my wife is a holistic health coach, with the wave of interest in healthfulness, right, and in organic and all natural, and to conflate those two, making better, healthier food craveable, is really such a potent, powerful concept. So if you could just speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah, so I appreciate the question, John. As I mentioned, like the the reason why Rōti exists is to serve food that matters. And there is different dimensions to that, right? Like there is serve food that becomes so popular and that everybody loves, that our restaurants grow, that we employ more people, we generate employment, and through employment, we can transform the community that we're part of. But we are also, feeding people, putting, as I mentioned, putting our product inside people's bodies. So our commitment to quality, to be able to source the best ingredients, the freshest ingredients, and use the best that we can use, and offer it that to the customers at a price point that is very affordable is really important for us. So when you combine, a couple of those things, you get to kind of like our definition of Crave Better, which connects really well with our old tagline of food that loves you back. The craveability is everything in the food industry. You want food that is memorable. You want food that people can come back often, and that people cannot resist. That is a combination of having the right vibe, as we call it in the stores, the right naming, the right price point, but the right spices and the right preparation of the food. And I think that's the reason why it's still true today. If you have a great product, that product is going to carry you for a number of years, because a great burger joint, a great pizza joint, there is still valuable business, because if you do it right, people fall in love with your food and they're going to tell all their friends, and then you build a business out of that. But and we've done that. We have a fantastic product that does pretty well on the market, but we think that we can do just better than that. So we make decisions that maybe make our lives a little bit harder, but make our lives consumer maybe a little bit easier. So an example of that is, I'll give you two things. Number one is, in the category, no one is using grass-fed beef. In a category of fast food or fast casual, it's either too expensive, too complicated, too hard to go down the grass-fed route. I'm sure that you heard from your wife and any other experts in the industry that grass-fed beef is one of the most transformative ingredients that a brand can, or that restaurants can use out there. Number one, because in terms of sustainability and contamination and pollution or whatever, the levels are a lot lower than regular beef. Number two, is really good for the human body in comparison to any other protein. There is a reason why some of our competitors and some other brands out there don't use it. It's because it's really, really expensive. Our supply chain team has done a fantastic work of sourcing the best sustainable grass-fed beef that we can source in a way that allows us to offer it at a convenient price point to the customers. Sure, we can make a lot more profit going to regular conventional beef, but we truly believe in the transformative power of the ingredients and the food that we put in people's bodies and in people's tables. So we decide to have a sacrifice on our margins as long as that creates long-term value for the customer. That is part of our commitment on serving food that matters. It's the same commitment when we decide to just close a partnership with Tractor, which is one of the fastest growing juice distributors in the country. All of our juice today are non-GMO and are organic. Again, we can just keep selling soda, which is, we have available in our restaurants. I'm not saying that we don't sell that, but we believe that there is other alternatives that will get us closer to the consumer and what the expectations are going to be. But that is like half of the recipe in terms of better. The other part of better is we want to be a disruptive force in the industry, where the rules are different. And I believe I mentioned this to Rev, when we first spoke. When you take a look at fast casual and when you take a look at fast food, and by the way, when I mention both of those, this is 80% of the US day-to-day, the regular families, eating behaviors, right? When they go out, not everybody's going to a high-end restaurant every day of the week, but a lot of more people are going to restaurants like us several times a week. When you look at the category, it's full of subpar or really bad products with really amazing brands. So all of this brands that have a product that maybe you don't look whether it's real or not, or what's on the ingredients, or how transparent they are, or whether it's really flavorful or not, or how good it is for you. But they have incredible brands that with access to incredible unlimited budgets. So great brands, excuse my language, great brands, shitty products. That is the norm of the industry. We came to Rōti, and I came to Rōti already as a fan before of a brand that had a great product and that had a really unknown brand. So part of the, hey, we can do better is if we have the foundation of fantastic product that sits in a perfect position in the market for what the world is living today and where the world is going, and a brand and a company that is already making the hard decisions around sustainability, freshest, premium ingredients at an affordable price, my job gets a little bit more challenging, but a little bit easier in a sense that allows me to just build a brand that has all the right pillars and all the right foundation to do better. So like the Crave Better is in summary, that's our new, food that loves you back, or Crave Better is unpacked in different dimensions, but basically what it means is when you choose Rōti, you choose stuff that is really tasty, but that is good for you, a brand that is as transparent and as committed to make great food as it is to being transparent and being open and being accessible for you as a customer. And also when you're craving better, you are deciding to do business and to consume a product from an organization, from a brand, from a restaurant that you trust, and that you know that they're not taking any shortcuts, but they're actually trying to do the right thing as it should be, right? I don't know where the world went into this, maybe profit or shareholder driven mentality, where the decisions that food companies made are not based on what's the best food that I can feed my customers, but what is the best food that will give me the biggest return. And I think we just come from a different angle that is hopefully perceived as very authentic, but that it's, the way I always talk about it is like, it's common sense. Like, isn't this what every restaurant should be doing? And isn't this what every company that feeds consumers should be doing? We believe it is. So, we do our part just by trying to share our food and our brand and our message with as many people as we can.
Amazing. So tell us about deep listening mode. We read a bit about this, that you went into this deep listening mode, taking deeply into account the needs and the requests of your guests. Many brands in the pandemic made moves and pivots that they thought would really be sales driven. And I'm not saying sales aren't important, they're extremely important. But when Rōti comes out with family meals, contactless ordering, like you mentioned, and buy one, give one options, it doesn't feel like a gimmick. So can you speak more about deep listening mode and how it has empowered your decisions?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me start by saying, sales are my priority. I came to the organization to drive growth of the organization and growth of the brand, and that primarily gets represented by sales. And as marketers, and we are responsible for the growth of the organizations that we represent, and that has to be sales. But I think that sometimes we forget that sales come from people. So without understanding people behavior, what they want, what they crave, what they need, how is it possible for me to create products and offerings that they're going to be interested in? So the only way to do that is through listening. So we are in this never-ending journey of refining our data capabilities and our listening capabilities, because there is always, the moment you learn something, you want to learn 3 more things, and then you want to learn 6 more things. But basically, we have all of our channels and our ears on the ground and online to be able to try to understand as much as we can from our consumers. So, and there is different layers to this. So like the first layer is, of course, you can email to hello@roti.com. You can go online and then contact us through our chat feature that we have online, or you can go to any of our social channels, leave a comment, use Facebook Messenger, send, slide into our DMs on Instagram or Twitter, and then we'll be there to answer whatever questions you have. We look at our comments and likes and people's reactions and shares and whatnot, just to try to understand if there is any specific piece of content or something that we did and we published that resonated better with with audience. And of course, we have also our ears and technology to look at every review that they provide in third parties or in Google or Yelp or any of the directories for us just to understand how we're doing. But I think everybody's doing that. And I think it's the responsible thing to do if you really want to be customer obsessed. But then we are also, we believe that we need to partner with customers, even though it's COVID, we can do it in a safe way. So when we decided to re-engineer our menu, we went out there and we recruited hundreds of customers, actually hundreds of people, half of them are current customers. That was easy. And then recruit people who have never been in a Rōti before in different parts of the country. And then we figured out a way to do contactless delivery and pickup of food for them. So they will try our food for free, and then they will provide us with their responses to a questionnaire that we did. As brilliant as our culinary team is, as experienced as our operations team is, as ballsy as I can be in regards to what I think the customer wants, ultimately only one thing matters, and it's what the real customers say. So we are very honest on that. So then in the middle of COVID, we basically had a couple of weeks where we did food tastings, where we have people coming through one of our locations and we were handing them bags of food, across windshields, or kind of like doing curbside in service of food tasting. And then those people provided answers that same evening after they had tried the food, and gave us pretty much enough information for us not only to develop the next couple of years of food innovation, but also very honest feedback about stuff that we did good and stuff that we didn't. And we really took that to heart, and then finalized the food development with that. So like the new menu that we have available in our Northbrook store in Skokie and Dundee, as much as I like to take credit for that new menu development, it was developed by hundreds and hundreds of people that collaborated with us to let us know what were the things that they liked the most and they liked the least, and the things that they were more excited about. So then, and right now it's performing really well. Again, not because of any particular person doing a great job. It was the aggregation of all of our hard work and the hard work of the consumers helping us. And the last thing, I will say, John, just to deep listening mode is, there is never enough insights that you can get out of the customers. So we tag everything on our paid media. We tag everything on our website, just so we understand what are the barriers for the consumers, what are they dropping off, if they were building an order, what time, did it take too long to add this ingredient, or did it take too long to actually go to the checkout flow? What happened there in a way that we can simplify things? So, in today's world where people are actually, very sensitive about personal data and information, where, the worst assumption that we can make as marketers is that people give a shit about what we do. They don't care. People don't want to be marketed. People don't want to, be advertised to. Any opportunity that you have to get any honest customer feedback is going to help fine-tune your product in a way that makes it more relevant and makes it more authentic. So the result of that has been for us creating a series of things that are, that were born out of customer feedback, and then no surprise, having excellent results when we put it out on the marketplace. So you mentioned a couple, right? We started creating, and then we're going to have in the next few weeks, we're going to have a version 2 of this. We created some family meals. At the beginning of COVID, if you see the data, everybody went to burgers and pizza delivery, like Domino's, incredible results and whatever. Everybody went that because I think people they didn't want to think what to cook. They didn't want to try to make, just pizza. Everybody loves pizza. Let's go pizza. So like the first few weeks of COVID was like crazy. And then people got to the point where it's like, even though I feel bad saying this, people say like, oh, I had enough pizza. If you ask me, there is never enough pizza, but there you
Also,
go.
I've gained my 10 pounds. I need to stop eating pizza.
Or I feel bloated, or, feeling great, or I'm gaining weight, or whatever. What else is out there? And then we said, listen, as much as pizza is a great vehicle for you to order inexpensive bulk food that fits everybody, so you don't have to think about your kids or wife or grandparents or whatever, because everybody can get a slice of pizza. We started thinking, okay, number one, what is our version of pizza? So we created flatbreads in a few selected locations, and those went really well, because then people could access pizza that was maybe a little bit friendlier to your body and to your lifestyle. Number two, we created family meal boxes, which for we had like a couple of versions, one at 35, one at kind of at around $40. Will feed up to 6 people and even have a few leftovers. And that was an excellent thing for us because number one, we were covering the customer's expectations, but we also had a catering team, which that business has declined a lot because not a lot of people are having meetings where they need to cater food. But we already had the experience of having a successful catering business in making food for a lot of people very quick. So then when we decided to do family meals, it was a natural fit. And then you mentioned buy one give one. We know people expect more of the brands that they do business with. So we know that people appreciate when a brand goes above and beyond to help the community. In this case, helping people in need, people affected by COVID, and also the people fighting in the front lines. As a restaurant that has been deeply affected by COVID, we were not in a position where we can say, hey, we're going to donate $1 million to this organization because this is cash preservation mode. We just didn't have the resources to do that. But we knew we could do something and partner with the consumer. So if they will buy some of our food, we can take some of the profit of that purchase and match the order for a good cause. So we created buy one, give one. And and that's something that we're also going to bring back. But for a period of time, every Thursday, for every item that you purchase, we'll match that order and then give something to someone in need. We did pretty well with those programs, plus some other donations and some other things that we partnered. We ended up distributing over 13,000 meals in about 4 to 6 weeks time. 13,000 meals, John, to people in need, first responses, nurses,
wow.
providers, or whatever. And again, just like when we develop our new menu, just like when we develop the family meal boxes, that has been interaction with customers. It's been our customers letting us know, hey, we'll be interested in doing this, or the data show that they are doing, X, Y, or Z, and then we just provide a solution that we know is going to connect with that consumer expectation, and they pay back big time. So we're always looking at new ways to listen to customer feedback. With the reopening of a Norwood location, we added a card with a promotion and a QR code to every order that people have, and we even have QR codes that you can scan on the tables, just for you to provide a series of answers around everything that we're doing: the food, the experience, the people, the restaurant itself. We're listening all the time. As I like to say, if we're not learning anything out of every piece of content that we put out there, whether it's a social post or a newsletter or anything, right? Or we're not learning anything with every plate that we serve, every bowl that we serve, or every salad, we're not doing our job. So, with everything we're doing, we're trying to learn something from customers. And then, we have a team that is way smarter than I am, that is able to put all of those things together as simple insights, color coded and everything, so like I can understand it. But then our decision making is all about connecting with those insights.
I love that quote. If you're not learning something with every bowl you serve, what are you doing? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Here's where you kind of touched on this. I want to take us to another direction here. It's easy, quote unquote, for somebody like you or me or John to sit down at a table and be like, we're going to be a better brand and we're going to have better food. And it's easy to dream and vision and write these things down. It's hard to execute that. But what I really want to talk about is your team, right? And the people that work for the brand. When you create all these things like Crave Better and, Food That Loves You Back and all these initiatives that are super important and measuring all the stuff, everything we've talked about, right? There's still somebody behind a register. There's still somebody cleaning a fountain soda. There's still somebody making sure that napkins are stocked, right? Now, I've heard you talk about hiring incredible people, and we love that word. Okay, we love that idea. What makes a candidate incredible, right? How do you search for that? And most importantly, how do you develop incredibility with your staff?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and Mark Tumil or head of people is going to be really happy that you asked that question. One of the million things that we did during COVID is that we completely re-engineer the way we and reconcepting the way we hire people, the way we recruit. I mean, the way we recruit people, the way we hire people, and the way we train people. And there is a few things that are in, innovation in the category in general for us to that, because we gotta think, different if we wanna be different, right? So the first thing is we make a conscious decision of being the leader in hospitality in the category. Other people might lead in other places, and there is a place for everybody. We want to make sure that when you come to a restaurant, your experience, the way we look at you, the way we treat you, the way we speak to you, the way we make you feel is very unique, and is one of the reasons for you to come back to us. So in order to do that, we decided to prioritize personality over skills. We can teach skills all day long. How to grab a knife, how to cook food, how to serve food, or whatever. Those are things that we can teach. Hiring people that care, as I like to say, hire people that give a damn, is really important, and it's usually not the case. Usually you just need to fulfill a position, and then you just ended up showing people. And because there is a lot of rotation and turnaround in the industry, you're just kind of going through the motions. We actually want people that want a career, that they actually care about other people, that they care about food, and that they're willing to make a difference. So when we started looking at how do we find those people, we understood that just finding people that want to work in the restaurant industry is not enough. So we started looking, okay, are there any other skill sets about people that love people, about people, and then suddenly we understood that there were other segments of the population that we could try to attract. So we understood that there were reasons why people care about jobs are different between different ages and genders and locations or whatever. One, for instance, is we try to go and connect with as many high schools as we can, because we believe that kids that are looking for their first job, that first job, number one, makes a difference for them in their lives, whether they had a first great job experience or a first really bad experience. So we want to make sure that in Crave Better, we provide them with a great first work experience. But number two, they're instantly going to care a lot about their first job, because it's a big deal. I just got my first job. I'm going to make my own money to put gas on my car, or whatever the reason is. So we decided to say, hey, we don't only need experienced people that have rotated to 3, 4, 5, 6 different concepts. We want people who are doing this for the first time, who are a lot more trainable, but also that they really care. We also look at maybe performing actors, people on theater majors, or storytellers, or writers, or people that actually instantly care about telling stories and having a dialogue. So we started looking at theater schools and performing arts, and like maybe actors and musicians or whatever that need a supplemental income for them to be able to pay the bills, right? And that we can offer them a different path that still allows them to do what they love, but whatever. So then we, those are two examples of we started just segmenting different type of people, because we value charisma and the ability to talk and to connect with another human being more than the specific tactical thing of how do you cut an onion, right? So that was the first part of the recipe. And of course, we connected that through media and through segmentation on how do we find more of those people and expose them to the message that we're hiring, right? We're always looking at how do we get minimum wage up and better conditions to the people that we want to hire. So, we're always looking in different locations, not only in doing what gets us to be compliant, but also what can we do above and beyond that to offer more benefits to our teams. And then lastly, we made a big change in terms of the whole training program. We talk about the Rōti vibe, and the Rōti vibe is, it's based on human principles of treating other person like the way you would like to be treated, right? Behave in a way that makes the restaurant be the environment that you would like to go and take someone on a day. Simple things of the uniforms. We created for new location a different apron, less rules about the uniform itself. Let's uniform a little bit more of accessories based. And the reason is I want every employee to feel as proud to wear an apron, a Rōti apron or a Rōti hat. And and both the consumers and the employee to find them so cool that they will actually wear some of that stuff at home, or they will wear that hat when they go out with their friends, right? That is the bar, right? Because and what we were doing before was we had a uniform that pretty much, I'm asking, hey, John, I'm going to hire you. You got to be super expressive. You got to be yourself. You got to connect with customers. You got to show 200% of yourself to work, but put this black hat, this black shirt, this black pants, and be dead inside as you're serving customers. That's what every other company do, and it doesn't work. So rather than do that, it's like, hey, man, here's an awesome apron. Here's a super cool hat. Wear whatever you want underneath. Be yourself, right? Be happy and connect with people. So we've been making all of these decisions because, Rev, as you were saying, I can do whatever we're promoting the brand, and then ultimately it comes down to the experience that someone has at the restaurant, with someone is connecting. And there's going to be the time where I get to host both of you in one of our restaurants, and then you're going to see this live. But what we're trying to do is make people feel the way we love to feel ourselves in a very authentic way. And if the bar is that, if the bar is that, and if what I'm asking from myself and from my team is not compromise in what we believe the right quality or the right service or the right dialogue needs to be, as long as we care, like in my case, as long as I care as much as providing a service or an experience that is the one that I will expect for me or my wife or my kids, it becomes really personal, but also becomes really actionable. So, all of our training, comes around that, comes around reading customers, comes around, what happens when you can anticipate customer needs, even if the customer has not talked to you. So I always talk to the teams about, what is the first, like if you see a mom coming into the store with a couple of toddlers, what is the only thing she cannot get enough of that you can anticipate super quick? Any guesses?
Sleep.
I'll say that's the second most important thing. The most important thing is napkins. It's going to be a mess. It doesn't matter what. The moment you go every 5 minutes and give them a new stack of napkins and clean the old ones, that's automatically a completely different relationship that you're building with that customer. So that is a kind of a very small example. You can do that stuff in the old school way when you will go to any restaurant, and then as soon as your glass was halfway down, the waiter will come and then they will replace it to you. I don't know where we stop doing that as a society, because I still want my refill, and if I'm too concerned that that's going to affect my bottom line, then I'm not doing my job. So like we are kind of going back a little bit old school, even though we're a new school brand. Really doubling down on personality, on hospitality, and trying to go above and beyond, because we believe in a world full of bad products and good brands. If we have a great product, a great brand, and a great experience, I think we have a better chance to win.
Amazing. John and I are coming to work for you. You've done a great job recruiting us. We didn't tell you before that, but this is a recruiting call and you win. Awesome. All right, Nico, this has been an awesome conversation. But before we wrap up, we have a very, very important final question. Okay. Super important. What is something you've eaten lately that was awesome?
So I have to plug our new menu at Norbrook, because it's incredible, but also has some of the best names that you've ever seen in food before. So I'll give you 3 items that are just fantastic. Basically what we do in our menu is we do 3 things, and we're doing really well. We do bowls, we do salads, and we do pitas. So I'm going to give you one of each. In the category of bowls, I like the little lamb, L-I-L lamb, like the little lamb. Is Mary's favorite. And little lamb is braised lamb in a bed of hummus, and it has some cabbage and some crispy chickpeas and some dill cucumber, and it's incredible. Is everything you want from a lamb plate. It pays homage to our Mediterranean heritage, but it's really good. It's served with some warm pita, and it's kind of like a great snack. Like you just dig into it.
All right, I'm in. You convinced me. What's the salad?
The salad or OG or SOG or salmon on greens. It's a salmon salad that has some roasted yellow tomatoes, some carrot salad, and some is served with a bed of of lemon kale, and the salmon is dressed a little bit with like some garlic sauce. It is unreal, really good, really light, but the best feedback that we get is like people say, I'm not a salad guy, but I love that thing. That's a really good feedback to get. And
awesome. So my wife is ordering the salad. What's the pita? What are we getting for John?
Pita is called El Toro, and El Toro is we take our grass-fed steak and then we dress it up with a couple of spicy sauces that we have, a green chalk and a red chalk, and we let it like simmer and marinate on it. So it's grilled spicy steak with hummus, some rainbow slaw, which is one of our salads, and every bite is just the perfect bite, man. It's delicious. It's a little bit spicy, so it has a little bit of kick on it. You get all of those Mediterranean spices, and then you can pair that with one of our organic juices, and it's just perfect. So you can always get a side of falafel with it as well. Our food is food for people that love food, man.
Beautiful.
It's nothing just, and then we try to make it really, really consistent and really easy for everybody to come and get a little bit of love through our food.
All right, John, I'm taking your bowl. You're giving me the steak. Nico, that was awesome. Thank you. I knew we were going to have a great conversation with you today. I'm really grateful for you for spending the time and really telling us about, some changes and thoughts that you got going on there. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate this time. I'll leave you with, listen, it's really tough times for everybody in the industry. It's tough times for us. We still have many of our locations closed and waiting for the right moment to reopen. It's a stressful times financially and operationally and for everybody in the industry and everybody outside of the industry, any of your listeners and people. The best advice that I can provide anyone is try to be more human. That's all we're trying to do, and it seems to be working. Just try to be more human. Try to listen more. Try to be there for your customers and for your people and for your employees. And then, when you are making the claim that you're customer obsessed or customer obsession, which gets thrown a lot, what it means for us is every decision that we make, before we make it, we think about, is this the most customer obsessed way of making a decision? And if it's not, we go back to the drawing table and try to find what that is and then try to decide that one. Because there is other things that you can do quicker, or that you can do faster or cheaper. But if you actually put the customer first, that means that's the lens on how you make your decisions. So, for everybody out there, just hang on tight, keep working hard, put your customer first, and then let's be a little bit more kind and human to everybody, and hopefully that works for you the same way that it's working for us.
Amazing, Nico. Thank you. And thank you to all of our listeners. If you really enjoyed the show, can you please share this episode with a friend who might also find it helpful? And if you really enjoyed the show, we ask for one favor, and that's to please give us a rating on iTunes. That helps us to spread the word to others who might find this show valuable, just like you do.
If you haven't subscribed to the show yet, please hit subscribe on your favorite podcast player so you don't miss a future episode featuring helpful tips from other professionals like Nico here in the food marketing business. Everybody make it a great, tasty day.